Hello, Elizabeth Ide. I am back again for another book. The book that I'm going to read to you today is another hockey book, and it's from one of my kindergarten friends that loves hockey, and it's a special request. This book is called The Magic Hockey Stick, and it is written by Maloney and Zekauskas. So in the back of this book it says, "Do you believe in magic?" Tracy does when she starts using Wayne Gretzky's hockey stick, won by her parents at a charity auction. She suddenly becomes the best player on her hockey team. Now, for any of you who don't know who Wayne Gretzky is, he's a famous hockey player. Pretty awesome. She hasn't become a better player overnight. It's the magic of the green one stick. But while Tracy's star is on the rise, Wayne's is steadily dropping. He's in the greatest slump of his career. Tracy knows that Wayne needs his magic stick back, but she needs it too. The question is, who needs it more? And that's what we're going to answer today. Mom never knew why she was sent 2 tickets to go to that special event. She just said to Dad, "It's for a good cause." And charity auctions are always such draws. My father said, "Honey, you've got to be kidding. We haven't the money for auctions or bidding." But that Friday night, tuxedoed and gowned, my mom was all smiles while Dad just frowned. They went to that auction and kept their hands low till Mother reached up to straighten her bow. The auctioneer spotted her hand in the air and shouted, "Sold!" to the woman back there. So what happens when you raise your hand at an auction? Does anybody know what actually happens to you? What happened to Mom during this time? She now has to pay for whatever she decided to buy. My father blacked out, and when he awoke, he looked up at Mom and said, "Are we broke?" So when you black out, you kind of pass out. You're shocked. All she could say was, "It happened so quick, and now we're the owners of Wayne Gretzky's stick." It might not be something that you would have bought her, but think of the joy it will bring to your daughter. So even though it's really expensive, she wanted to make sure that her daughter was getting something that she loved. At breakfast, Mom asked if I could explain how great was this Gretzky, this player named Wayne. I told her that Wayne was the best of all time, and now he just scored goal 999. Wow. Then Dad butted in. "Let's make one thing clear. This stick's not a toy. It's not to leave here. It cost us a fortune, so please don't you take it. I'd go through the roof if someone should break it." What does it mean if something costs a fortune? Does that cost a little or a lot? Because Dad was really concerned that they were going to go broke if they bought this stick. So a fortune means a lot of money. But one day the pull of that stick got too strong, and though what I did was terribly wrong, I took down that stick with Wayne's autograph and hid it inside of my long-necked giraffe. Make a prediction. What do you think she's going to do with that stick based off of the summary that I read before reading this book? I went to the rink and down to the ice, where some people pointed and others looked twice. Even my teammates had a good laugh. I must have looked odd with that old stuffed giraffe. But on the ice, on my very first shift, I suddenly knew that I had a great gift. What was her gift? Since she brought that giraffe on the ice, she had what in the giraffe that really helped her out? She had Wayne Gretzky's stick. As soon as I touched it, I wasn't the same. That stick changed my style. It changed my whole game. And as my first shot whizzed past the goalie, I heard him exclaim, "Gee whiz, holy moly." Nobody noticed the name on my stick, but that very day I scored a hat trick. I'd sneak the stick out whenever we played. I can't even count all the goals that I made. I'd always score once and more often twice. That magical stick was quite a device. Then after each game, I'd sneak the stick back. Thank goodness my parents weren't ones to keep track. Now for any of you who are big basketball fans, there's a really good movie called Like Mike, and it's about a child who lives in a home. He's an orphan, and he all of a sudden comes across Michael Jordan's sneakers, and he gets this magical powers, and he's just really good at basketball. That's a good movie to look into. That's kind of similar to this book. It's magical shoes, though. But while I was having the fabulous season, Wayne had stopped scoring, and I knew the reason. Game after game, he just couldn't score. 1 game, then 2 games, then 3 games, and more. I read all the papers. The writers were rough. They wrote that Wayne Gretzky had lost his best stuff. Because what did he lose that she kind of has right now? That was his best stuff. They said that old Wayne, once so great and admired, was now just too slow, too old, and too tired. He was also missing his magic stick. Oh, how I fumed to hear such things. She got angry. I tossed and I turned and I writhed in my bed. And then as I fell into deepening slumber, a voice said to me, "Return the man's lumber." That stick meant the world to me and my team, but who could ignore such a voice in a dream? And then I remembered that warning from Dad. If that stick should vanish, he'd be really mad. But I didn't care. I'd made my decision. I knew what to do. I now had a mission. I'd go to the garden and ask to see Wayne. I knew I had something to ease all his pain. That's Madison Square Garden that she's talking about going to. And that's where he plays hockey, is in New York, in Madison Square Garden. So she's going to go and try to return his stick. Make a prediction. Do you think that he's going to believe her that it's his stick? He'll obviously see the name, but would he believe any part of that? We'll have to find out. The man at the door was a fellow named Bob, and letting me in could have cost him his job. But he was a fan as well as a guard. He told me, "Be kind. Wayne's taking this hard." Wayne was way down in the dumps. "It's bad," he said sadly, "the worst of all slumps." Then I took the stick from my trusty giraffe. Wayne saw it was signed with his own autograph. I said, "It's the stick that scored $9.99. I want you to have it. It's not really mine. It's made me much better. I'm now my team's star. I'm sure it'll bring out the star that you are." So most kids probably wouldn't be able to just go into the stadium and actually talk to a really famous player, but she could. Now Wayne always welcomed a timely assist, so he said he laid his strong hand on my little girl wrist. "But what about you, girl? This stick helps you score." But I said that I thought he needed it more. He said, "You're most kind," and then with a laugh, the great one asked me for my autograph. Why do you think he was asking her for her autograph? Is she going to be famous one day? Who knows? Later that night, I watched ESPN. The Rangers and Gretzky were playing again. Then Dad called to me, "Come in here quick. Tell me, young lady, just where is that stick?" I said, "Dad, I'm sorry, but please come with me." And I sat him in front of our color TV. As we looked on, the great Gretzky scored, and seeing that stick, my father just roared, "You gave him our stick for crying out loud!" but Mom slapped me 5 and said she was proud. Wayne may have scored with a flick of his wrist, yet it was our daughter who gets the assist. Why would she get the assist for helping him out? What did she do that was helping Wayne Gretzky get his groove back? In our final game we played well and won. Still, I was more pleased with what I had done. I had pulled Wayne right out of his slump and helped him get over the 1,000-goal hump. And as for that stick and how much it's worth, it's now the most famous stick on the earth. It's up in Toronto, encased in the shrine. That stick with 2 names, Wayne Gretzky's and mine. So she had him, or he had her sign his stick. And now she's kind of in a famous area with that stick where people can go and see it. And here's all those people looking to see the stick, the famous magical stick. So do you actually believe that this hockey stick had magic powers? What would you do if you could have magic powers, even if it wasn't a hockey stick, because not everybody's a hockey fan, but what would you do? How would you use your magical powers? And if it belonged to someone else and they were having a rough time, would you give it back like the girl did? Hope you enjoyed.